Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Impossible Puzzles Show. It's episode 180, and today we're saying hi to Andrea Vahl. Did I say your name right? Hello.
You did. Most people don't. Yay. Hello, Mike.
Hello. And we cheated. We had a little preemptive or whatever prequel chat. And then now we're jumped on the Google Meet and we're recording. And what's up? How we doing? And how would you introduce yourself to everyone on the earth in this beautiful platform system? Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google. And thank you, everyone in the podcast world and internet world, for joining and for meeting Mike and for finding him in his 180 episodes. Holy bajoli. That is awesome. That takes some willpower to keep doing it. A lot of people start and they do not keep up. Or some people start at the number 100 just to make it look like they had 100 of them already. Kind of like your checking account where you used to do it. They're like, where would you like to start your check numbers? Because one tends to make people worry. That's awesome.
It's so true. It's so true. Oh my God. I what did I hear the other day? Someone was saying, imagine you hop on like an airplane and it's like, oh, and we're gonna go, and the pilot gets on and it's like, okay, thank you everyone. We're gonna be taking off in a few minutes here. We're just getting set up and we're gonna go from Toronto to New York. And oh, and by the way, I hope everyone feels comfortable because this is the first time I have ever actually flown an airplane ever. And just want to let you know, and I'll see you in a couple hours if we make it,
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited for you to join me on my first journey. And you're like, oh, great. Tell me there's another captain up there who's actually in control. Oh.
I always joke that I look back. I'm 42 years old now. I look back to when I was like all those plays at like camp, summer camp, and then different plays in junior high and high school, and those little courses or training I got in theater a little bit along the way. And yeah, there's a big difference between theatrical, like theater, and journalism. Because someone asked me, they're like, do you have any training in journalism? I'm like, nope. The furthest thing from it, anti-training. A bunch of journalists and reporters telling me that what really is journalism? And I'm like, oh, really? The camera goes on and you just talk? They're like, no, I studied this for years. And theater, you're coming from the world of serious training in theater, and what's that all about? I never did it seriously.
It's a lot about wanting to stay a kid forever. I mean, that's kind of where everyone gets it. When you're a kid, you play, you pretend, and you even put on shows for family, and it just feels like happiness. It's putting all of your worries and everything aside for a little bit and not having to deal with it, which I kind of feel like that's something some people really need in life. And I think that's kind of what I wanted. When I grew up, we lived in Chicago until I was 10, and then we moved to Iowa. And let's just say we moved to a very, very, very small town where everyone was born in the same town, went to the same K through 12 town. So if you moved in, it didn't matter when. If you weren't born there, you're the new person until you move out. So even when I graduated high school, I was still the new girl, 8 years in. And it made it very easy to want to be someone else during high school. Like, I embraced speech contests, the monologues, every play that there was, anything where I could be anyone but myself for a little bit. And it kind of just stuck. I went to college for it and loved it. But like most people, like in college, you get that, what are you going to do with it though? What are you going to do with your degree? How are you going to live afterwards? You're having fun. And what I learned, most people, at least most people in the theater film department, went into insurance. I don't know why. Maybe it's the steady job right there as I don't know what I'm going to do with my life because I've only been trained to say whatever speech you give me kind of thing. And I went the opposite. instead of being a telephone person who has a speech the whole time and you're not supposed to stray from it, which is what annoys all of us when we call in for customer service. Because you're like, please stop with that and just use your brain now. You're like, if you were in my situation, you know what you would expect. Now let's go on with that first and do common sense before we do what the man doesn't want to actually follow through with.
Oh my God. One of my first jobs ever, aside from those like 13, 14-year-old like math tutor experiences, which was also interesting. One of my first jobs was like a summer job working at a call center for like Sprint in the billing. It wasn't collections, it was like billing and updates. And I remember vividly, oh my God, I always tell people, if you don't know what you want to do something you don't like.
Yeah,
and then you'll figure out that'll grow you up very quickly. Do for like 8 hours straight with like a 30-minute lunch break and maybe a bathroom break if you're lucky. Sit for 8 hours and collect and do like, back to back call center work. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see the angriest side of humanity? Work in a call center. Oh my
God. And even in the call center, there was a time where like employees were threatening to kill each other. Like I was just like, okay, I'm going to listen to mommy and go back to college and university and not work in a call center. Oh my God. But other people weren't so unhappy. They said, it's a job, whatever. I come here, I leave, it pays the bills. And then, but it was kind of hard for me. That was, everyone has worked.
If you didn't,
like a waiter or call center.
It's because you're so young, you didn't have to. Because there are now jobs that people can do online. There are so many other jobs that were not available. Because I'm going to age myself. I'm 45. I'm an 80s baby. There were very different kinds of jobs you had when you were a kid. Like it was babysitting. It was call centers. It was waiting tables. Maybe working at the fast food place. Like there were limited jobs you could have where you started as a teenager. Like we moved to Iowa, I detasseled corn. Waking up at 4 a.m. to get there before the sun gets up, and we all pick a row, and you literally have to jump up and pop that tassel off until 5 p.m. Like,
oh my God! I one time
it's work ethic.
I remember, I was a hockey referee, and it was like Sunday from 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. And it was like the youngest kids, so like 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. And to be the referee for that is just like the most. I think I got $7 an hour, and my mom was so proud. My son is in grade 9, and he has a job, and I drive him to his job, and my dad's like, I'm watching my son as a hockey referee, and yes.
So responsible. It's showing that you're growing up. It makes your parents very happy. And then you feel even worse when you don't like it. And you're like, I would like to quit now. And they're like, but I'm so proud of you. And you're like, oh, it hurts even more because I like the money and I like the proud, but I hate the work.
It's looking back. I've had, I think, there was a funny chat I had with someone, and I'm like, I think I've been fired or removed from projects or thrown out of schools or startups or whatever 15 different times for similar reasons. He goes, 15? I'm at 25. And I was like, oh, I thought that was my claim to fame. And it takes time in life. Funny saying this after 180 episodes. It takes time in life. For Mike Merker, probably anyone else on the planet, but Mike Merker is going to confess it here. It takes time to figure out, what we are good at.
Yep.
What we like to do. What makes money, and try to take those 3 things and try to, we'll get a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of column C. It's actually quite difficult to do it. You can never get exactly what you want. That's exactly what you're good at. That exactly makes a million shekels or whatever. It's been challenging, and as we're talking here, I'm sitting in my basement with all sorts of exotic Lego-like
Cool.
trinkets and enormous puzzles. And I think today, despite the backlash of a million people, I think today I, Mike Merker, am now figuring out clearer what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I like to do, what I don't like to do, and how I fit into the grandiose scheme of things. It did take a wife being married 11 years, hopefully 12 if I can figure out it faster. Life is interesting. We is everyone just, we're all just faking it till we make it, aren't we?
I kind of feel like we thought when we got older, it was going to all kind of just fit, like make sense. We would just know. And apparently none of the adults wanted to warn us that when we were kids that you don't actually know more, you experience more, and you assume you do, but every time you come into it, none of it ever goes exactly the way it did before. So it's always something you're learning. Like, you just kind of have to hope however you're handling it is the correct way. And if it isn't, quickly adjust. Be willing to adjust. It's that not willing to adjust that makes life so much harder. Because you're like, but that's not how it went last time. My dear, it never goes how it does last time. Even when you make pancakes, they're never always going to be the same, even though it's the exact same batter recipe. Like, something's going to be different. It's just the way the world works. And they really should start telling kids that, because the amount of disappointment people are getting, like, when they call everyone a snowflake now, there's a reason why. It's because we made snowflakes. It's because we let everyone think it was going to be nice. Because we all wanted Disney happiness, and we assumed it would eventually go that way. If you're super nice and always whatever, the world will be that way. It's a lovely idea, but it's never that easy. And you kind of need to let everyone know that, so we don't all break down when we're 30 and go, this is not what I agreed to. You're like, oh, honey, I know. None of us did.
The breakdown when you're 30, oh my God, it's so interesting. I feel that I had my midlife crisis a little earlier than most. I think I broke down, I think it was like the first 2 weeks when I was studying chemical engineering. In the first day, actually, when I walked in to the first class on the first day and got my schedule and my little engineering helmet, I was like, oh God, what have I signed up for? I don't know if I can do this. And then I'm like, well, how do I explain to my booby, my grandmother, and my Jewish Zadie, my grandfather, and my mom and my dad and my relatives that I don't necessarily, something's off. This is not where I don't know if I can work.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right anymore.
It doesn't feel right. And I don't know if I want to do this. And even a week ago, my mom coming over, oh, you should have been a chemical engineer. You'd have this. And the reality is, had I went through that path and went to school for 5 years and got that master's degree afterwards, I would never have be sitting. I would never have done the podcast. I would never have made those 4,000 YouTube videos. I would never have dealt with that lawyer and met that toy convention people and met these inventors and did those trade shows. And it's like the butterfly effect.
Yep.
If we don't, fascinating. If we go if we step in the right door at the right time at the right angle, paradise. But we change one thing, everything collapses. And I am now starting to reflect that, oh my God, thank God that I said this there and ran away to this there and traveled there and ran away from this yeshiva over there and a little bit all over the place. But not everyone's doing that in life. Not everyone's doing a wake-up call, and you get kind of maybe stuck in a rut. It's not so easy to break out after certain. What are your experiences? You are, and you brought up the word snowflake, a world of fictitious youth, and
I
I
mean, I think I get
yes.
to. I live in the La La Land. I live in the land of LA where the weather never changes. So when it's a new year, it literally takes us all by surprise. Like
La La
you have to
Land, is that
remind us that we have holidays coming up, that Christmas comes up because we don't see the weather change, so we forget to get presents. We're the bad ones. We're like, oh no, we don't know about time anymore. We just stopped. Everyone
what's it
went,
like in LA? What's it really like? I live in Canada here. I live in Toronto. It's
okay.
cold half the year. What is the LA experience?
Let's say the weather is perfect. Let's say everything else about the city once you move here is a bit disappointing. If you're here for a vacation, you will see the pretty stuff. Just like everyone, you go everywhere and you just see the glossy fun stuff. And even when you're in LA, the glossy fun stuff has the homeless people literally in front of it. And you have to be aware, even on especially on Hollywood Boulevard. Like you would think that's the place you go in Hollywood. You see like the Kodak Theater, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Capitol Records big building. There's homeless literally every 4 feet. And they have no problem yelling at you or following you or whatever. And it's dirty in LA. The honest truth, it's like every city. But we have weather that's so beautiful, it makes it worth it. And you would think that sounds so silly. But
Fascinating. Homeless people everywhere, beautiful weather.
and
I
that's why we have so many
homeless
homeless people. You don't have to sleep indoors. You don't have to worry about the elements of weather. Like you can sleep overnight and you're not going to freeze overnight. You might have a dog that goes past you and might either bite you or pee on you while you're sleeping outside. Other homeless people might mess with you. That might happen. But we have the weather that says you're content, your body will be fine. You don't have to worry about that part of it. And we also have a lot of people out here who will give to homeless. Like it's a common thing. You'll see them at every street corner with the little signs, hungry, need change, whatever. And if you if you sit there across the street watching, every 10 minutes or so someone's going to reach out and just hand change to the person. You feel bad for having a car and seeing other people who don't. It works. There's a little bit of a give and take in the city. You don't mess with me, I will happily give you some money for just existing for the rest of the day. If you have a pet, if you have like a dog, I am among many of the people who will go in the store and buy your dog water and food. I might give you a couple dollars, but I'm making sure your pet is definitely covered. Like, it's not their fault. We have that kind of thing.
not the keeping up with the Kardashians misrepresentation of LA and all that jazz, if you will.
I mean, there are for the very rich people. The very rich people, the people who run the studios, who are, I guess, what we would all call the gatekeepers of everything in LA, of the shine and sparkle of LA. They all keep up with each other and haha, way to waste your money. We hope you all enjoy wasting your money for no reason whatsoever when you could just be helping out your own family or making generational wealth or just being secure. Like, no one ever likes hearing about someone who's rich, blew all their money, and now they're poor. You're like, oh, the things we all could have done with that. Boo. But for the rest of us, it's a crazy little balancing act of most people don't have a real job. So you will see like people are out and about from 9 to 5, and the amount that you would think it's summer break. It's adults everywhere. It's not the kids. Kids will go to school right now. They just started school, and you'll be like, oh, it should be so much less people on the sidewalks and at the stores, and yeah, because now the parents don't have to stay home from work and all that. Oh no, it's like everyone who was inside for 3 months because it's so hot. They all came out. Everyone 20 and over just came slinking out, and they're like, now the streets are ours again. And people don't have normal jobs, but they somehow make the rent. And I don't even know how I did it. I moved out here and I didn't have a normal job. It's you do background work, you do little gig things. And this is before Uber and Amazon were around. Like, I honestly have no idea except pure luck that you would just get you go be those people on the game shows that clap and laugh and in the audience, and they'll pay you like $25 an hour cash.
Think you get paid 20? Oh, I'm in the wrong business.
Yes.
You're paid to sit on TV background game shows and clap.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They answered a question. Oh, they got it wrong. We're going to go to break now, everybody. If you can do that when they tell you to, and without being the annoying person in the crowd and looking like a normal person who maybe goes to church on occasion, or at least has more than a pair of jeans and a whole shirt, you can survive out here. That's kind of how it happens. But almost everyone moves out here wanting to be in the film industry, in the music industry, the film industry, something in the entertainment industry. And then they realize, just like when you were a kid, no one tells you that it's not easy. In fact, that there are no open doors around here. No one is looking that actively for competition is what they take it as. Because if you come out here as a filmmaker, the current filmmakers take it as competition. They don't take it as, oh, we're bringing a new person under our wing because, in a while I'll want to retire, but I'll still want people to entertain me. So I'd like to train them and show them how to do it right. It isn't taken that way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's
rather keep people down and keep them out than make it as encompassing and welcoming as possible.
I so can relate. I'm thinking about when you actually talk to like a venture capitalist or a rabbi or a priest or a lawyer or a surgeon. When you talk to someone, not how they appear on the surface or on that podcast, or when you talk to the actual person and people are like onions. There are so many people I know where they just wake up in the morning, they're just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this another day. I'm going to kill someone. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, don't say that to your wife.
Yeah, she's like, I'll be gone for a week. I don't know what happened. I am not a witness. I love you. Please don't.
I've heard, and maybe I have the wrong fly on the wrong wall or whatever, but a lot of people, who they are on the surface, even I remember being an extra in a few different movies or different TV shows, just, I don't know, whatever, years ago. And it was fascinating where someone's like, okay, we'll give you $200 for the day, but, we're looking at 14 hours. And I'm like, 14 hours? They're like, well, you don't have to perform, but you are going to be in that Scottish costume, wearing the kilt. You can wear underwear and you can put your phone in the pocket at the front, but you have to you have to have the mud on your face. You are a Scottish tribes leader, and for 14 hours. And I'm like, oh my, why did I sign up? And they're like, well, when you go on, Reign season 4, episode 6, or ever, it'll show Mike Merker wearing a funky fake mustache and wearing the costumes. I'm like, oh, they got me with that. They get you. They get you with the claim to fame, and you get to tell people. Suddenly, I'm like, oh, from 10 in the morning till midnight. I think I got home at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and my wife's like, what was that about? And I'm like coming home, I got like dirt all over my face. Looks like I got blood.
Yeah. We're like, you didn't even wash it off. That was so mean. I could have used a baby wipe, and they were out before we were done.
I've had other experiences where, okay, I'm not much of an actor, much of a media, anything, but it's fascinating when you go behind the scenes to a film shoot, high-end production company, and then it's like, okay, wardrobe, and then I'm like lined up and I got like 6 women like tugging at me, and one's like shit, getting hair off my arm with waxing it, and then this one's putting hats on my head, and this one's like trying different bizarre goggles, and this one's smearing dirt on my arms, and then the guy in front of me is like, oh, Merker, what did we sign up for this time? Oh, you should have went back to chemical engineering. And I'm like, what about you? He goes, oh, I should have listened to my Jewish mother. Why are we in the worlds of theater? And even with podcasting, talking to other people who have like a podcast show, and some of them tangential, like the same. They're like, oh, Merker, what what if I got myself into? I'm like, okay, well, you're the host, and you have your, you're responsible for what comes out. You knew that person was anti-Semitic. You knew they were going to go there. You have to. It's your show. The show must go on, but like
steer around it if possible, and be like, oh, we're not talking about that. No.
I was telling a joke the other day where I'm like, well, if ever things get really out of hand, you could be like, well, if you need to throw a brick at a synagogue, just, let me know which synagogue. I understand the I understand the situation, but like, let me know which synagogues you're around. I'll tell you which one I dislike the rabbi's wife's cooking the most. And then, and the guy's like, hey, this is the real, I'm talking serious stuff here. And I'm like, oh, I thought this was a joke, and I've in interviewing people is not, is journalism, which is not theater. And I'm coming on like joking. I got a miniature SpongeBob character of me on my shirt, and I got my little microphone, and I'm like telling jokes. There's a serious business people who have to talk about their coaching service or their marketing platform, and I'm like, oh, yes,
seriously.
Well, they, there could be. I'm learning this every day now. There's people who, they don't do the research. They thought this was like a serious podcast, and I'm like, no, this is the, no. We've had people who invent, all sorts of children's toys and adult sex toys, and the craziest people in my life. I might as well call it Mike Merker's crazy bus. And but some people are like, okay, I'm ready for the podcast. Okay, let me get my, and they have like a $2,000 mic on the stand, and they're like, okay, did you go through my book? And I'm like, oh yes, it was a really great book. And I'm like, Google search.
Yeah, you're like, why don't you tell us what you like the most about your book, or what you want people to take away from the book?
Yeah, I'm like, for those who haven't read your book yet,
exactly.
Wink. For those who are meeting you for the first time and are new to your research paper, how would you introduce this? And remember, the audience may be a little bit ADD and a little bit, might be sitting in their underpants at 3 a.m. watching this. So how would you introduce yourself at a beginner level? What kind of questions have you been asked on other interviews? They're like, wait a second. I've been caught, so to speak, with my pants down, or metaphorically, not literally. Well, maybe that also.
Only by your wife.
Yeah. And Mazel Tov. What are your thoughts? Should do you think podcasting is getting all serious and people are like, oh, it's a big business presentation, and what happened to the casual chit chats and the nonsense and the mishigas, the craziness?
Exactly. They're acting like they're going on 60 Minutes. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, my dear. This was just to talk and to have people get to know you. But if you wanted to pitch the world, you can create a commercial and pay for it to go everywhere if that's really how you want. You're like, you have to put that one.
I said to someone's like, and after we do the episode, will you be editing it? I've read a few times, will you be editing it? And I'm like, I don't want to
waste your time editing 180 episodes.
I'm like, literally on Friday.
Yelled at for editing.
Someone's like, no, this was a beautiful episode. Now, what does it take? A few weeks to edit it and put in the special effects? I'm like, I already released it. It already went out. They're like, what? I'm like, I told you, after I film it, I click record, and then I click or whatever. Then
the live stream.
Yeah, afterwards, there's different styles, but I learned that I can download it from like Google Drive and then put it on YouTube, and then it's there. And they're like, oh, you don't edit it? And I'm like, edit what? It was a great conversation. They're like, you're not going to remove all the ums and ahs and that pause. And I'm like, you want me to sit for hours and like manicure it? And I'm like,
That's
uh,
rude.
I'm like that. You need. I know a guy who will help you with that for $6,000. You know, and
Exactly,
it'll
because
cost
that's how
you
much
your.
your time is worth, actually. Like, if you think about now that everyone's been doing this for a while, like we were doing podcasts before we started doing Gratcast when we were making our film back in 2010 and doing the whole editing afterwards. You know how much time that takes? People are
Oh,
insane to assume that that you, as the host, would want to spend an additional, what, minimum 5 to 6 hours per episode minimum? And that's if the computer is doing what it says it does. And not just going, oh, it's going to take a little while for this part. And you're like, well, that was a whole waste of my entire day. Like, insane to assume that people are going to do that, or that you're going to help them look better because they can't stop saying and you're like, this is how you decide to display yourself to the world, my friend. If this is how you speak to people, let them know that's how you speak. If you've got a very weird cough that happens every 2 minutes, everyone's going to know that's what happens when they sit down and talk with you. Just be used to it.
it's fascinating in your experiences with
Yes.
what was it like studying the worlds of acting or theater, or should we say performing arts is the umbrella term? What did they teach you? What is, or how would you explore the wisdoms thereby?
Well, in our college, we started with theater. Theater is always the easiest way, get everyone to memorize their lines. Our college also is very strict. You do not get to jump into acting right away. Everyone graduates high school and thinks I'm going to be the star. Our theater had the rule you have to do an actual technical theater department beforehand. You have to be a stagehand on one of the plays before you will be cast. You can audition as much as you want. You will not be the lead as a freshman. You have not earned the right for that, even if you're the best person. Prove that you know how to be a team player. Work in wardrobe, work in lighting, work on stage building, work on the makeup and hair, like do the sound, do everything, anything, so that you learn how the team works before you decide that you're not going to be part of it and just my part is on stage. I'm just doing what I need to do with my lines and the rest of you do it around me. It was the opposite. So I really appreciated that part in college. It was something that took you beyond doing the normal like speech and plays that you do in high school, where if you are on stage, you think you're number one. You, in your mind, you're always number one. It humbled you. It taught you to be a team, and it kind of prepared me for going into the film side of the industry. Because theater, unless you're going to be 100% a theater person, you do need to be able to expand and have your skill sets go into other parts. And we luckily had gotten a teacher from Los Angeles who moved out to Iowa to take care of her aging mother. And she gave us her production skills because she was a production manager and also did casting here in Los Angeles. So she was teaching us beyond just what you have to know on acting wise, that this is what you need to know production wise. This is how you need to actually think of it, because especially out here in LA, acting is important, but if you don't have crew members, you have nothing to do. The actors are the least important thing if you can't pull it off before the act. Like, it's just the way it is. There's
Yes.
a million actors, there's a limited amount of crew. And you need to make sure that you have crew that can do it and that you understand what you're asking them to do and how they need to do it too. It's Everyone needs to be very aware. And if you just came to act and you've never done any of the other parts, it makes it very hard to cast you because you don't understand how much goes into it as a group effort. And it's like everything else. If one person comes to a group with that feeling of I'm better than everyone else, or you're all lucky I'm here, it ruins the experience for everyone, and it kind of makes no one want to work with you. So I
I love it. I love the I so much behind the scenes, like production. There's so much more to. I've met people where it's like their podcast or their show, like 3 cameras, everything in person, no Google Meet plus screen record, no, like it's like a real production. It could take 2 hours to set up, an
Yep.
hour to finish. The filming is itself only 40 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to get there with all the equipment. Like it's a real thing. Or someone told me it's like $600 just to rent the studio space for
Yep.
the 3 hours minimum, two
And then
hundred
you
dollars an
pay
hour.
every person there who's helping set
Yeah,
up, and yeah.
and then you have to take the footage, and I'm like, what? They're like, there's 3 camera angles. I have to edit the footage. I have to glue it together. I'm like,
You have to hope that
no.
all the time codes are lined up correctly. So if you switch from one camera to the other, that it is on the same time code. You don't have to search and then go, oh, great. Now nothing is synced up. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. So I was like 9 years old, and my grandfather hands me his like camcorder in like 1990. What is this?
The big ones.
1993.
Like,
Yeah,
test
huge. And it's like, okay, here are your battery packs, Michael, and here's your tapes, and let's get some production going over here. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, I have to run the Hanukkah party. You film it. And I'm like, that was my. I mean, sometimes the best teachers are the ones who are like, here's a bunch of crap, figure it out. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to, and he's like, people are going to watch this after, and if it's bad, it'll look bad on you. And I'm like, thank you, grandfather. He was old school. He was old school and grew up in poverty. So he believed that, the old figure things out is the best way to teach others. And those were fascinating home movies and YouTubing, doing like family videos on YouTube. There's so much to think about that today I've come to maybe it's my own ignorance, but I'm just like minimalism, just chatting, not a million preparations.
Yeah.
No fancy. If anything, the makeup goes on the men from my daughter putting lipstick on me like yesterday in the middle. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to cost me all those years in rabbinical college. And now I have an eyeshadow with pink lipstick. Oh my God. If I wasn't the enemy of the state, now I'm really the Will Smith. Men wearing makeup is I guess that increases views for all the wrong reasons. I guess it's interesting. You liked being a podcast guest. How come? Couldn't it be surprising? And the host will pull the rug out from under you. What inspired you to come on this quirky platform here and share thy wisdoms?
Well, honestly, the first thing I saw, I have a niece who loves Legos. Big time loves Legos. And when I saw that you have the song Lego, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like anyone who could think of what you're doing with the music and the Lego-esque type stuff. It's a brand, I know. Lego is a brand, but your stuff is so cool. I'm like, anyone who could think of that, I love it. I definitely want to be a part of talking to you, and you understand things. You think about them in a way that's out of the box. Or as our acting teacher said, find your way out of a paper bag. Every time you're in a main problem, you're in a normal paper bag. Everyone's in this paper bag. Find your way out of it. And that's how I think about it. I'm like, you found your way out of the paper bag and you created a whole cool thing. And I love that.
Could you elaborate on this? Find your way out of a paper bag. That is a great analogy. How would you explain that idiom or that, what do you call it? A wise proverb of King Solomon.
I guess I've always taken it as the way she kind of said it is you're at a grocery store, you have all your stuff right here. It's all in the paper bag. That's what you're taking it home with. What you need, what you're in, all of that is in that paper bag. You find your way out of it. You get what you need and you make sure it happens in a way that Maybe it's not the normal way. Maybe you aren't going just out of the top of it. You're finding your way out of this situation. You're her other way of saying it was everyone else said, get yourself out of your own box, like
Thinking
outside the box.
side of the box and seeing things from a different angle, different perspective, and
don't feel limited by the one way that everyone else does it. Like if you're looking at the bag and the up is the only way and you think that's the only way, it isn't. Find your way out of it another way. There's always a hole at the bottom or a crease that you can dig your way through. There's something if you're willing to look. If you want it bad enough, you will find another way.
Oh my God, I'm echoing the wisdom here that if you look long enough, you will find another way. And as you're saying this, have this favorite. This is like where it's like literally a grid of like colors and shapes that turn into like little houses or like little boats or trains.
Oh, that's so cool.
Or like a clown juggling. I just love, this was my original inspiration. A turkey, a teapot,
a tree.
Yeah, here's like a pineapple. I'm going through these all, an apple, numbers and
calculator trick.
A monkey and what is that? Car.
Yes. Oh, that's
car
so cool.
And a rocket ship. And I was like, interesting. You have all these like, I guess this is the thinking out of the bag, is the out of the box, is that imagining just like a standard like puzzle block. And I didn't invent it. It's called like Pix Bricks, but wouldn't it be cool if there was a way using like colorful blocks to interpret all this stuff, like all these Bible quotes and songs in any language, and try to represent them in a quirky, unique pattern method. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course, please ask.
Has it ever occurred to you that what you're talking about right now is alien technology? Like maybe that's how they're trying to talk to us, is they are sending something like this that you're making right now, and they're assuming we've already thought of it and it's normal, and you might be the only person who actually knows how to interpret whatever spaceships they've been hiding in the X-Files writing on the spaceship. You're the only one who actually knows because you're the only one who's looked at it that way to even consider that that's it.
You are not the first person to say, is this where did you get, like, Michael? Literally, the line was,
could be what we send out on the next spaceship instead of a gold album that they're like, I don't even understand what this is. Like, you guys didn't even tell me I need a needle to make it work. Like, yours would probably make more sense than we're like, oh yeah, oh, he's singing Twinkle Twinkle. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I was like, don't you like that song from Passover? They're like, I see some like Lego like blocks. I see a bunch of gray and green squares with a black rectangle. Michael, are you out to lunch? And I'm like, don't you see the magical patterns? They're like, no one does. And then presenting it to another bunch of people and then yelling at some rabbis in a synagogue. You're teaching the religion wrong. We need to incorporate 3,000-piece mega complicated puzzles that encode the Jewish religion magically. And literally the response was, okay, we're going to call a therapist. Does your wife know where you are? Should we lock you in? Which meant it wasn't like, is he sane or not? It's like, which of the local mental hospitals should we start with? Will they accept him? Because I'm like, you can't lock me up without my money. I've learned also in life that sometimes there's different types of responses. 9 out of 10 people are like, bizarre puzzles. How does that work? And I'm like, okay. And then there's other people who are like, get get your bizarre grid shapes out of here. This is not, our religion. There's nothing wrong with the Jewish religion. We are not looking for exotic puzzle shaped toys to I'm knocking things over here. We're not looking necessarily for such things. You were smiling.
I like it.
You like
I think
it. What
it's
do you like
genius.
about it? What do you like about it?
I think it's genius. It gets you to think about things completely differently. And I think it's tactile. And I think children, it helps them because children's brains are still so open. We train them with that. When you give them all the blocks and the shapes and everything as a child, like the fact that even with Legos, like we have trained ourselves and our brains to work a certain way. And then there's like a point where I don't know why, but adults decide that that's just child stuff and we don't want to think about it and we're like almost forced to retrain your brain to think differently so that the only reason anyone's rejecting that or saying like, oh, that seems crazy or whatever is because they've already closed down part of their brain. Like they've literally you only access so much, and I think as a kid you have more access to it, but as you get older you start saying, you hear no all the time, so that in your brain you literally start turning off things that you don't have to, but you're just so used to hearing no that you do it to yourself. If that
Oh
makes
my
any
God.
sense.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was joking before we even started that there's like 8 or 9 children upstairs right now. I have 5. I have nieces and nephews,
mhm.
and children want, I guess, younger children, they want to play.
Mhm.
Play is learning.
Yep.
Play is expression. Toys and games and puzzles are a learning, and Montessori, according to the Montessori method and the philosophy of Maria Montessori, the first ever female doctor in Italy, who that was itself a story. She was always about that, like, where are the objects of the learning? Where is the tactile? Where is the physical? Why are we boxing everything in this? Everyone has to be the same age, and everything has to be time blocked, and like it's like some conveyor belt. And just learning more about Montessori, and as you said, when things get closed down, the brain gets closed down. Because yes, in nursery, in kindergarten, everything is big and colorful, and there are exotic shapes everywhere, and
Textures
it's
everywhere.
and everything big. The letter B is big, and the alphabet, and we're getting focused on like the simplicity, and the learning is a lot more. You're learning language, and you're
Yeah.
learning to be human, which is itself an impossible subject. And
And
yeah,
you learn to ask
right.
questions and to explain yourself more when you don't understand something. Like it's something that as a kid we embrace, but then there's a certain point, and I don't know, it feels like when you're approaching the double digits, like when you're 9, 10-ish, someone gets annoyed that you're asking questions because they don't know the answers, or you're asking smart questions and they start shutting you down. It's like they're almost training you to be an adult on the don't ask things people don't want to deal with. And so you start to not even think about solutions. Like a kid, you'll say, oh, there's this worldwide problem. And kids will look at you and be like, adults are so stupid because the answer is this. And you're like, true. Like, yes, we all just need food and there's enough for everyone. And the answer is everyone should have food. Yes, that's and like they see the very simple, there's an answer. And I don't know
Yeah.
why you guys don't get it. And then as they get older, they keep trying to give the answer, and people keep saying, but you don't get it. You don't get it. When it's in fact the adults who don't get it. They make it so much harder than it needs to be. And kids are just, they're almost smacked down to the point where when you're old enough as a teenager, instead of getting grumpy and upset that the world is the way it is, you could have made an impact. You could have had the solutions, but everyone else above you tells you to just stop. Just don't, just, this is the way the world is. That answer, it is the way it is. Ooh. That is one of the worst things you can say to a kid, because it literally tells them, just stop trying to come up with better ways to do it. Stop seeing the world with all the colors and just stick to the Roy G bit. Don't worry about the shades in between. We've got 7 colors and that's it. Everything else is a shade. No, they're all colors. Like, we almost break down the world to make it easier for adults, but by making it easier for adults, we're limiting ourselves and everyone else on all the possibilities.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. As
Sorry,
you're
we got
saying this,
like
no, 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 no. Go on. No,
philosophical.
no, 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 no. Continue. I'm reflecting on the. I mean, here we're talking in huge, broad strokes, and yeah, my daughter's like 4 years old when she comes downstairs, and there was times I was like, oh, my heart's like heart beating, and I'm just like, oh, I'm in the middle of filming, and it's like I'm supposed to be an adult, and this is supposed to be professional. She comes down with blush and a makeup kit. Well, I'm sitting here with a microphone, and next to me is like a blush kit comes out, and this like 4-year-old girl lipstick comes out, and she's like putting the lipstick on me, and I'm supposed to have like a serious meeting, and I'm freaking out over here, and but the reality is, any meeting, any podcast, any discussion, it breaks the ice immediately. Oh, who's that? And I'm like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I'm muting myself, and I'm like, get her out of here. And then my wife's like, no, 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 keep her down there. This is good. People want your daughter. They want to see your daughter playing with toys. They don't want to see a 42-year-old playing with toys. They want to see a 4-year-old. And her putting lipstick on me is a fascinating, and the blush, and I didn't know how many different eyeshadows there are. And the reality is that's natural. That's like going in nature and the natural experiences of who's this and curiosity, and at the same time, yeah, I was showing this to someone the other day. I'm like, and they're like, what's that? I'm like, oh, we got to take like, those Jewish books in ancient Hebrew, and we got to be like, chapter 1 says this, and chapter 2 says this, and chapter 3 teaches this, and look at these beautiful shapes that we can pull out from the ancient Hebrew. And I was really nervous, and the person's like, oh, Michael, why didn't you say it? You're focusing on the fact that 95% of Jews can't read, and they don't know the Hebrew alphabet and all the symbols you have to learn. Is that what you're trying to do? And I'm like, yes, yes, I want that the ancient wisdom can be made easier today. And they're like, but is this for babies? How many people are going to do this? And I'm like, no, don't you get it? No one's doing it. No,
Yeah.
95% of Jews can't even write their name with the Hebrew letters. And then someone's like, does it work for Russian? Does it work for Chinese? Does it work for Korean? Can I get the Indian national anthem as a puzzle? And I'm like, yes. And then I learned after, as we know, the trials and tribulations of life and presenting and explaining things, the best advice I got was, oh, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it fun and tactile and visual,
Mm-hmm.
and also carry the original, song in French that you learned in Canada, we're doing the French, as far as a popular language, whatever. So it's like, oh, that's the French song that Mike remembers as a kid. And then I start to be like, oh, that's the message that, Willy Wonka would say to the prospective parents,
Yeah.
meeting the Willy Wonka, if you will. And what else? What other wisdom? You have so much to share about returning to youth, the kindergarten, the tactile whole things of the hands, and joy of learning and exploring and youth.
Well, I guess one of the things that Chris and I are doing is we started a film company called Gatwick, and we are kind of pissing off everyone in Hollywood because we're doing it differently. We are doing it where you were talking about the behind the scenes. We are 100% having it live streamed of the full making of. Like, we are doing it from casting all the way through the production, through the post production, so that people can see, like, an educational thing. Like with you, most people don't know the truth of what goes on. We hear the horror stories. We see whatever they edit and want to put at the end of the bloopers during the credit reel of, oh, everyone had so much fun. Look at that when they didn't say the line right, and everyone laughed for once. Woo, woo. So what we have done instead is we've been working on this. We started when we made, sorry, I had to plug in my computer.
No, me too. Just a moment here also. I go on.
We're all getting the little notification battery getting.
No, the show must go on. Share more. Gatwick and raw behind the scenes filming live, not just filming like live to tape, raw, unedited.
Yeah.
Everything, all the things and not polished to make the audience feel comfortable, and not well cropped to make everyone look the best. You're talking like before the makeup goes on,
exactly,
or after it comes off, and the farts and warts and all. I love it. That's my style. I love it. Tell more, please.
So
solve everybody.
We started doing this when we made the first film, First Timers, when I first moved out here, and Chris was making that film. And I helped with that. I did a small little role on that. I helped with lighting, with everything, sound, a little bit of DP stuff. And then we went to make our second film, which was a horror film. And we already learned horror films, they say, make money, which, sure, they can make money, but it's one of the least expensive kinds of films to make. So we went back to Western New York, and we brought some crew members from Los Angeles. We did casting all over the US. We did it before Zoom was a popular thing. We had open casting, and we had anywhere you were in the US or Canada, if you were allowed to work in the US and make money in the US, you could audition for it. So we had open casting already online, just like we are right now, where we wound up casting a lovely girl, Holly Green, from Canada. And her audition was literally, she was in her room right there, and we were here, and it was live. Anyone could watch any of the auditions that we had. And we did auditions in person in LA, and then if you weren't in LA, you can do it over line, and they were all up on YouTube. Anyone could watch. People could rate it if they like. If back in there was a time where you could do the thumbs down. YouTube was mean. They had that option back then. And so we were doing it that way, where we were showing everyone, this is how we are making our film. This is our indie film process. And so we did the casting that way. And then on the date when we were actually filming in Western New York, we were doing little videos and posting it the night of. We couldn't edit it because it took too long, because we were filming the actual movie. But while we were filming the movie, we were doing videos of this is how it's being done. Like, you can see, this is our DP setting up the next shot. Here are the actors. Here's the crafty. Here's the grips over there getting everything ready with. We were putting it up every night. We had the crew members, all of us who came from out of town were living either in a hotel room that we provide or a big house that we were all in together. We were going over in multiple cars over to the set, everyone together. This was a family, a Minuchkin kind of thing. You got to see everything going on.
Minuchkin kind of thing. Yes.
Minuchkin is a fantastic theater person. If you have not learned about Minuchkin, they let the audience in before the show even starts. You are seeing the actors put on their makeup. You are seeing the stage get set up. There is no behind the scenes. This is part of the show, is how it all gets done. So that was one of the things my theater degree taught me. That was my last, I guess, official test kind of projects, is to learn about Minuchkin and display how that was actually something that could work. And that is now something that we have entirely embraced with our film company. So we are at the point where we are expanding. We have gone beyond just making individual films. We are now making this an entire universe. We want every creator to know they can all get their stuff made. We have been here in LA and learned the awfulness of the gatekeepers, the awfulness of everyone thinks of each other as competition. Everyone who is an indie filmmaker and thinks they are going to go to the big studios and get their stuff made or distributed. It is the hardest way ever because they will never pay you back. All of your investors, they want you to just take it in the wallet and have everyone you know, whoever cared about you, whoever invested, who you ever made a promise to or signed a contract with, who you gave your personal word, which is the only thing you have of value in reality, and just tell them, oh, well, and they can just write it off as if writing it off on your taxes makes it all better somehow. And so what we have been working on for many years and getting it lined up legally and everything else so that it is all above par is we have made a company that makes it possible so that anyone anywhere can get films made. You do not need to be in New York, in Atlanta, in LA, in Vancouver or Toronto. You can do it wherever you are. What we're doing is we are showing pretty much right now with the film that we're currently making the example of how it's going to happen. We are having open casting all across the whole US, and if you have a valid US work visa, you can submit online, and all you have to do is make a little video of yourself saying, this is who I am, this is why I like to act. This is why, this is my dream. This doesn't matter where I am. This is what I want to do with my life. It might not be what you do to pay your bills, but it's what you're trying. And you post your thing, you just tag us so that we know this is you wanting to audition. And we are not specific on any of our roles. So anyone out there who wants to audition can. And we have just, I feel like if I say too much, it's almost like doing an ad.
No, you're allowed. No, go on. I'm only trying to make sure I find the right LinkedIn page or website to better understand.
GRATWICK.io instead of .com.io.
Yes,
That is an app, and it's also a website. So if you wanted to, you could get it from the Apple Store or from the Android. It works for all of those.
Yeah, I just want to Gatwick.io.
Yep.
I can't help but
there you go. Yep.
Jump in here. No, you can
there you go.
Talk about your in particular terms. The as you've been describing it, fascinating. The industry said it couldn't be done. We did it anyway. An independent entertainment platform. Creators own their work. Audiences help decide what gets made. Every stage of the process transparent. Watch it happen. Can I click this? Watch it happen live. Oh, okay. I might. No, I totally understand. You're everything.
And there's free subscriptions. There's a lifetime subscription that there's only 5 of them available, right? Or 500 of them available. And once they're gone, they're gone. But that means every piece of content, every creator, every production ever made, you will have full access to all of it 100%. There's no later on you're going to find out you have to pay $9.99 a year or whatever. It's the lifetime. People are locked in. There's a yearly one. I believe there's going to be a monthly one. Wow. But you can sign up for free and be able to check everything out, and you don't have to worry about, basically, if you get a subscription, that means you get to rate everything also. So when we do auditions, we are going to be having live auditions going on, and we're going to have like a lineup of people and then a waiting room in case someone doesn't show up, because it's going to be like this on Zoom, and anyone in the world can watch. It'll be on the website, it'll be on YouTube, on Twitch, on Rumble, on all of, as you know, all the streaming places that will let you go ahead and restream your stuff. But anyone anywhere who's watching can then also rate like how they thought the audition went. And it's rating with 10 different categories, just like you would a normal actor. Or I guess actors are aware when they're doing acting classes. It's not just your personal presence, it's your personality, it's your charisma, it's your delivery. It's about 20 different things, but we're breaking it down to 10 different categories. So that's step one of it, is inviting the audience to see this is what the casting process is like, but it's also inviting all of the actors to see this is what an audition, if you haven't been out auditioning, or this is what our auditions are like. This is what you can see how it all works, how you're going to be able to not just audition for us, but you're auditioning for every other filmmaker out there who wants to see how this is going to work. Like, is this a process we want to start doing too? And that's a way for other filmmakers to poach talent, because you are showing everybody out there. Like, maybe you're not going to get a role here in LA, but there might be a role closer to you where someone just wants to see what kind of talent is there. And then they'll be able to track you down and go, would you like to audition for my thing? I saw you audition for someone else's. Like, you don't need a manager to submit you if you put yourself out there.
Correct.
So it's pro for the actors to be able to get the experience and also to get their faces out there. It's pro for us because we're getting everyone else to be able to see this is what we're doing, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible. A thing you hear about all the time out here, especially with the casting process, and I've experienced it too when I first came out here, is creepy. It's creepy, and it leaves everyone vulnerable on both sides. An actor can feel uncomfortable, and whoever is in there casting with her might not have done anything at all to make you feel uncomfortable, but you came in feeling that way. And when you leave, she could go out saying, you made her feel icky. Like, you aren't you Weinsteined it. Unless
we're playing the Weinstein card.
If he wants to sue me, go ahead. Go ahead, because there are plenty of women that you did that to, and there's a reason it's the phrase it is now. You did it, and now we all know what to avoid. So this way makes it 100% never going to be that way. And if anyone misbehaves, says anything inappropriate, whatever, everyone is watching. You can't deny it. Just like right now, there's no editing. If I say something stupid, I said something stupid. And I've stumbled over words already. It's just the way it is.
I love it. Okay, so just taking all this in. Yeah. Gatwick.io and on LinkedIn also, and we'll have all the links in the description below on YouTube. It's fascinating how you're a great solution to the world to transparency and fairness and honesty. Extreme honesty is just to record everything.
Yeah.
And I'm reflecting in times in my life where I was like, oh, if I could just play that video of what actually happened.
Like, do you remember me arguing, saying you did not say that? I wish I had it recorded because I know you didn't say it. And they will lie. And you're like, you are the reason people get violent when you lie so badly. You're like,
yeah, I'm like, no, I'm even thinking about all these rabbis I know. Not the rabbis are bad themselves, but like what it's like for them, students walk in a room and they're off the wall, batshit crazy, if I could say. And then I see them and I'm like, is everything okay? And they're like, oh, Michael, you have no idea what it's like in like a room full of 12-year-old boys, all, poking each other in the butt and all sorts of nonsense. I'm like, isn't there a camera there? Like, and baseball bats are coming out. What the hell's going on? And it's like, well, we don't really believe in them. I'm like, well, but for your own safety, and all the more so if that's a junior high school. Imagine what's going on in like industries where there's obvious predatory behavior and there's it's almost par for the course. And a great solution to chaos is just, the police cam makes it very clear that, okay, if whatever you make up, you can make up, but like there's Every
Yeah,
police officers walking around with video, audio, live feed, and you can access that. And then we know that okay, this happened, that did not happen. So
exactly.
so we need this in more areas of life. Not only should things be more tactile and visual for learning, but when it comes to art and media and film, we should
Yeah.
we should show. Why aren't people showing the whole process? What's that about?
It's like they want it to be a secret, almost like alchemy, where they're like, if I figure out how to turn lead into gold, I don't want anyone else to know either, and it's just going to be all me. So I'm going to hide in this cave and put all my stuff here. No one gets to watch how I do it, though. Where we are the exact opposite. Like right now, we're trying to have it be where it won't just be the casting, it's going to be the entire production. We have a thing called the set where we are going to be showing this is what the producers do. Like this is what producing is. It is actually making things happen by lining up everything, by having to do the call and find out how much it costs if you wanted to do this. Call and find out how much time it takes to do the following things. Get all the information together and then figure out a plan. And then on top of that, remember that you also still need to have other people who can do that. So now you have to find the other crew members who understand what you're doing and are capable of doing it, and also know how to use the equipment that you're going to need. Like there are so many levels of it that's what we're trying to show, and we're trying to make it so that it is almost an educational thing too. It's entertainment. Of course it's entertaining to see people struggle, and because that is what TV is, that is what everything is watching everyone else's experiences. But what we want to be able to do is have it be something like colleges can actually have, all right, guys, we're going to go and we're going to watch this for the day. They're shooting. And while we're doing everything like live on stage, we're going to be having different hosts each day who are going to be pretty much the mouth of the audience. So while it's happening, anyone who's watching can type in the chat and ask a question. If you want to know why a crew member is setting up a light a certain way, why we had to cut, like what was wrong with the sound, what's going on and why it's happening, or anything going on, they type in and they ask the question, and at the next most convenient moment, the host is going to go over and talk to whoever and get an answer for it. It's going to be realistic, it's going to be hands-on, and it's going to be real time. And it's going to be
my God,
that we want it to be interactive. We want everyone to feel like they are a part of this process, because what we would like to do is when the film goes into so we're going to be shooting the film, and as the film is shooting, we're having our editors work on editing the film together right then, so that it isn't like an additional 8 weeks to a half a year of post-production before anyone sees the final product. We want it to be while we're shooting, at the end of the day, we already know what shots did or didn't work. We're going to be having everything. We would prefer to be able to do the movie in sequence from the actual beginning of script to end of script. Not, we're going to do this scene, then we're going to go back to page 3, then we're going to jump to page 97, then we're going to go and da-da-da-da. We want it to be fully done, kind of like theater. You don't start in the middle, you start at the beginning, and you get your way through.
Yeah, I'm just on the YouTube channel here, and I'm seeing Gatwick Productions, fully transparent, audience owned and driven. Let me say it right. Fully transparent, audience owned, audience driven studio built to serve the modern artist. And oh, you have a podcast. You have
we started doing Gratcast way back when we made The Perfect House in 2009, 2010, I want to say is when we started it. It was before we went and self-distributed it and went on a cross-country tour with it. We had a 67 RV that we painted up like the poster of The Perfect House and drove it from Los Angeles all the way down the South Coast, down all the way up the coast, through the middle of the country and back again. We did in August through the end through November.
Oh,
And gave free screenings.
I'm just heading over to
But we
a
did not have your
small version.
consistency. I will give
It's
you that.
okay. No,
Even
no,
with
no.
about some-
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I will say that there's a miles of difference between just chit chatting with people for half an hour or an hour, whatever, versus studio feature length. It's a different world. One is behind this. One is just the chit chat, see the people behind things, which is what we're doing here. But you're talking here about audience driven entertainment where it's, yeah, how much does it cost to rent at even the most ABCs to rent the empty room? Never mind the props and the people and the cameras and the mics and
Yeah.
the editing and the production. And we're really talking here about the exposure. It's almost like the producer work. I tried to explain to so many people that I'm like, it's not just, and I'm an amateur and I'm just like, it's not just you put a microphone on and talk.
Yeah.
There's the production. You have to, is it going to be a Spotify audio? Is it going to be a YouTube video? You have to make that decision. You have to tell the would-be guest what your studio is or what your podcast is. I remember explaining this to 10 people. And that's just a podcast. That's just a talking. That's not like, that's just nonfiction. You get into like fiction, it's like, which studio are we renting for what hours? How are we going to feed the 100 people? Where is there a working toilet on set for the
I love that you thought of that, because that is when we go to studios, I look at that. I'm like, I need to look at the bathrooms, and they all look at me like I'm weird. I'm like, I am a girl. I am very aware that some of these places are not set up for crew. Like, however many people you have, you can't have a line going down the hall and have it take an hour before we can get started back because it's a bathroom break, like at school. You're like, this is not like, okay, the whole class, let's all go in the hall and we're all going to stand here until everybody's gone to the bathroom.
There's so many, it's not just the filming but like, yes, in life, there's so many variables that we have to think about. And to do it transparently is beautiful, because then we get to, put our hair down, so to speak, or we get to, warts and all. And how many podcast episodes never launched because the guest was like, this is the worst, Mike Merker, you a-hole, and this is not, I don't mess with me. And if you post the video, I'm going to come after you. And I'm like, oh my God.
If I put this up right now, we're going to get so many views, though. You're like, keep yelling at me. People really like watching someone get yelled at. Do it.
So I learned, I learned that the most popular episodes are the one where it's someone who really hates me. And they're just like, show me all the trinkets that you have. Okay, let's look at them. And then it's like, you idiot. And then I'm just like, hey, I have to produce the episode. And hate brings out when people are angry. I always joke that when people are angry or there's some misconfusion, that's when we want the behind the scenes, the raw, unedited, the reality. There's like reality TV shows, and there's like reality where it's like the microphone gets knocked over and the baby spills water on the computer and the laptop gets pushed off and the links get shared and someone shares their screen, but of course they forgot to delete their internet history. So we saw what they were watching at 2 a.m. last night.
Exactly.
Wink, wink, Stephen. Not to name any names. Your internet history. We don't need to know what you do to put your little bedtime pornography habit. And, anything can happen. And then fast saying, we will have to do this again. This will be episode 1 or part 1 of this beautiful discussion here.
Yeah, and as we get further down the road, we are just about to start the casting process. So, like, once we know that's going, I'll let you know, and you can come join and see how crazy it is and see the process of it, be a part of it even.
I love it. I know a lot of people. I guess they're mostly Jewish, but I know a lot of people in LA or interviewed them, and they would be very curious. So we'll pause here.
Curious is the correct phrase. We have a lot of people who are very curious, skeptical, more because it's different. Everything that we're doing, it sounds like, oh, they're just making another film, but we're doing it completely differently. And what we're hoping is that when we distribute the film, the money that we make from the film, we're sharing it with the crew, with the actors. That is part of it, is everyone who's a part of our film has a piece of it. It isn't like they're one time paid off. You're a piece of it. This is what you helped build, and you're helping build a new way for the world to work. And we would love it if we can keep the same people, but we also know we're going to get bigger, so we want to be able to add more people. But what we want to do is with Gatwick, after we distribute the amount that goes to everyone for their portions of it, a portion of it is going to be kept into what we call a community fund for other creators. We want other creators to say, we see what your process is. We're cool with it being transparent. We are happy with people knowing how it's getting done. And we want them to see us do it too, so they can submit their own scripts. And with that, it's something that Hollywood doesn't allow because you can't submit. It's unsolicited submissions. So if you send your script to anyone, they can't legally look at it, because if they have anything going of their own that's slightly similar, you can then say, but you took my story, and that's how you got that idea.
Right.
That's why they say no unsolicited materials.
That's right. That's right.
It's not going to be unsolicited. We're saying, do you want to have it made? This is your project, but with your project getting made, you also have to do the very hard part of go through your script and make your budget. That's a requirement. You don't just get to go, here's my script. We want you to look at it realistically and say, how do you think that money would have to be spent? How many crew members do you have? How many hours a day? How much money is this going to cost overall? Because we're not going to necessarily give it to you. This is, does the community, everyone who is watching before the audience, they'll get to know, here are the scripts. Look at the log lines, look at their summaries that they gave you. What do you think is a good one that everyone as a group, we should all invest? What does the audience want to see? And then when we like those are great stories, and we go, and this is how much it costs. As a group, do we think we as a society can afford to do a gigantic, they want to blow up something that looks like that they want to recreate 9/11 and have a blow up of the Twin Towers? Do we all really feel that that's worth it? No, I'm sorry. It's a lovely idea, but maybe do it in animation instead, kind of thing. Like,
I love it.
Think about the practicality of it. And it also opens it up to like any college, any students, anyone who's thinking about themselves. They can do that too. They can still apply for it also. But think about the practicality of it, because if you want to do it, we're trying to show the reality. It's fun, it's joy, it's making your dreams come true. But it is a reality. It is work. Just like we were talking about before, you have to do a couple jobs you hate to learn what you love. And as much as people think they love films, they love making films, it is work still. Do you love it if it is work? If you can still do it when it's work and it doesn't feel like it makes you want to tear your hair out, or you'd rather not wake up in the morning, then it's something you can go into.
I love it. Before my computer overheats,
I hear you, hon.
We will pause here for the recording, and
Perfect.
yeah.